dnešním dílu pořadu Svět okem Raptora se podíváme, jak prolomit narativní bariéry Západu. Čína je klíčovým přispěvatelem k multilateralismu. Čínská ekonomika rostla v loňském roce o 5,2% a Mezinárodní měnový fond očekává, že letos poroste o 5% a příští rok o 4,5%. Kongres USA škodí vztahům mezi Čínou a Spojenými státy. Dále se budeme věnovat veletrhu China International Fair for Trade in Services. Na mezinárodní scéně, zvláště v médiích globálního severu, se často soustředíme na témata jako geopolitika a vztahy mezi Čínou a Spojenými státy. Ale kolik pozornosti se věnuje pokroku zemí globálního jihu? A nakolik je možné vytvořit spolupráci místo neustálého skepticismu? Nancy Ilochnaji, nigerijská moderátorka na Africa Independent Television, upozornila na potřebu zesílit vlastní hlas. Média ze západu mají tak silný hlas, že se zdá, že už není slyšet nic jiného. Ale to neznamená, že nemůžeme být stejně hlasití. I když nemáme to, co mají oni, můžeme propagovat to, co máme. Podle ní je povinností afrických médií více prodávat vlastní narativ, protože Západ často ukazuje Afriku jen skouze problémy, jako je chudoba nebo nemoci.
We saw a lot of coverage about, for example, geopolitics, China and the United States. But in the spotlight of international media, especially from global north, if I could use that general term, how much really is focusing on the progress that countries like yours and mine have been making, and how much synergy there could be, rather than sarcastically say it is almost impossible.
Sometimes you need to make your voice louder for you to be heard. Because those other people that will feel that their voices are louder are being loud to the point that it's so penetrating that we're not hearing anything anymore. Not that we can't be as loud as they are. We may not have what they have, but the ones we have, we can advance and promote what we have.
Jednostranný přístup není řešení. Čína je klíčovým přispěvatelem k multilateralismu, generální ředitelka Světové obchodní organizace Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala varovala, že jednostranný přístup povede k dvojité ztrátě. Zdůraznila, že chudší země, které jsou členy Světové obchodní organizace, nemají prostředky, jak se vypořádat s jednostrannými opatřeními, což by pro ně mohlo být škodlivé.
Unilateral approaches will lead to lose-lose. We've seen this movie before. Okay, in the 1930s we had that. So let's try not to do that. And developing the poor countries who are members of the WTO will not have the power to compete or to defend themselves against measures. So we're really worried that they would be the losers in this if we continue in this way.
About that, the consultation process on the issue of electronic vehicles, for example, bilateral taking place among some of the members of WTO.
Yes, China called for consultations. It hasn't happened. They have another chance to call for consultations. And I think the consultations will begin to happen. If it's not successful, then there are other measures. You know, but what is good about the WTO is that it has a series of steps you can follow. And we are finding increasingly that in between those steps, members are able to start exchanging with each other. We also think that there was perhaps a great deal of use of the appellate body in the past. Now that it's not there, members are trying to use other mechanisms which were seen they were foreseen in the dispute settlement system. More dialogue, more arbitration, more use of third parties to settle disputes. China is a strong supporter of the multilateral trading system within the WTO and has continued to assure us of its support. Also, during the trade policy review, for the first time, China brought a strong delegation that held a seminar here for the first time ever, trying to explain China's policies, to try to increase transparency. And I think that is a good thing. We need China to continue to do more and more of that, so that the questions being asked by the rest of the membership can be answered.
Stephen Alan Barnett, hlavní zástupce Mezinárodního měnového fondu v Číně, se nedávno vyjádřil k současnému stavu čínské ekonomiky. Podle jeho slov Čína nabízí špičkové podnikatelské prostředí, které je tržně orientované a založené na právním systému. To podle něj pomáhá přitahovat zahraniční investice. Důležitým faktorem je také vytvoření rovného prostředí pro všechny firmy soukromé, státní i zahraniční, aby mohly férově soutěžit.
It is a world-class business environment that's market-oriented and law-based. This will help attract the actual foreign investment. I think the second part, also from the government work report, a level playing field so that private firms, state-owned firms, and foreign invested firms all can compete on a level playing field.
Outside of China, especially in the news, in the media, there has been a lot of talk of who killed the Chinese economy. For instance, that the Chinese economy is ailing, is failing, and so on and so forth. To be really fair, Mr. Barnett, I need a straightforward line. Has the Chinese economy been killed?
Let me let the numbers speak.
Yeah.
Chinese economy grew 5.2% last year. 5%, we forecast 5% this year and 4.5% next year. It is true that the Chinese economy has been slowing down. Mm-hmm. I think it's also fair to say that the Chinese economy is facing challenges. But our forecasts account for these challenges. When I came in 2003, only know a China that grows really, really fast. And nowhere in the world is that sustainable forever. What we're seeing is an adjustment from very fast growth rates. To borrow language from the government, I hope what we see is an adjustment to higher quality. I think it also leads to a really, really important point that for so many of these global problems, there's only one way to solve it, and that's for the world to work together. We need international cooperation. No one country can solve the trade issues. No one country can solve the climate problem. We share this planet. We have to work together.
Vuxinbo, děkan Institutu mezinárodních studií na Fudanské univerzitě, se zúčastnil diskuse na 11. pekingském Xiangshan fóru, kde se společně s hosty z USA věnoval napjatým vztahům mezi Čínou a Spojenými státy. Moderátorka Liu Xin upozornila na skutečnost, že po návratu amerických zákonodárců z letních prázdnin proběhl v USA takzvaný týden Číny, během něhož bylo předloženo a schváleno více než 20 zákonů zaměřených přímo na Čínu.
Just a couple of days ago, when the US lawmakers came back from their summer holidays, they celebrated the China Week. I'm sure you've read the news. At least 21 to 22 bills directly targeting China were tabled and passed. How should we understand that? How damaging is it going to be US-China relationship?
When the President and the Secretary of State go out in public and say China is America's primary strategic competitor, what kind of message are you sending to Congress? I think the executive branch really shapes the environment in which Congress thinks about their China agenda. Today, people think, Congress is the most vocal and hostile voice against China in the United States. They are not only passing a lot of bills against China, which come into law later on, but also they are poisoning the atmosphere for China-US relations. And also, it's fair to say sometimes they even exert pressure on the executive branch, not allowing the Biden administration to engage with China, not to stabilize relations with China. In that sense, Congress today is very much a liability to a good China-US relationship.
Na letošním veletrhu China International Fair for Trade in Services se klade důraz na nejmodernější technologie a jejich využití v praxi. Výstava představila širokou škálu inovativních digitálních aplikací, které ukazují nejnovější trendy v oblasti služebního obchodu. Mezi hlavní lákadla patří integrace technologií do kulturních produktů, jako je například imerzivní VR zážitek z Dunhuangu, a pokročilé technologie v nových energetických vozidlech, které zaujaly i zahraniční návštěvníky.
Aside from Black Myth Wukong, I also discovered this immersive Dunhuang experience at the Beijing Shougang Park. Right now, I'm putting on VR goggles in this 500 square meter massive space. I get to travel through 1,000 years to experience the beauty of the Dunhuang for 30 minutes. The space is filled with patterns, which help the goggles with special positioning. And with this backpack, I can process the graphics.
One of the highlights of this exhibition is applying emerging technologies to every aspect of cultural product creation and consumption. In another area, the integration of software and hardware in new energy vehicles has attracted the attention of foreign buyers.
For now, it's very popular. China is booming.
One unique aspect of our cars is the integration of vehicle and connectivity. We can control the car via smartphone from home using smart appliances, and almost all functions in the car can be controlled by voice. This is one of our special features.
Aside from new energy vehicles, we've noticed many AI technology products at the exhibition that are already integrated into the daily lives of ordinary consumers.
This is a video just generated by AI, showing the crowds at the CIFTIS. This year, AI applications are everywhere at the fair. Plus, here's the thing with AI, virtual humans chatting, and it can also recognize what's in front of the camera.
Experts say this is the first time such services are available to end users in China. At another booth, we saw an AI orthopedic surgery robot simulating knee replacement surgery.
Our robot is a sophisticated integration of brain, hand, and eye, stimulating the capabilities of a seasoned orthopedic expert. It provides personalized surgical solutions with precise and perfect implementation during the procedure.
This year's CIFTIS has showcased the diverse possibilities of integrating hardcore technology with real-world industries, presenting global opportunities in this process from China. Aaron Liu, CGTN, Beijing.
Letošní China International Fair for Trade in Services s tématem globální služby a sdílená prosperita se stala významným bodem pro mezinárodní spolupráci. Výstava přitáhla více než 80 zemí a mezinárodních organizací, které se zaměřují na rozvoj obchodu, udržitelný rozvoj. Henning Kristoffersen, obchodní rada z norské ambasády, vyzdvihl pokrok Číny v oblasti zeleného rozvoje a důležitost otevřeného obchodu. Gahulam Kvadir z velvyslanectví Pákistánu označil Čínu za globální výrobní centrum a klíčového partnera pro spolupráci. Další zástupci, včetně portugalského a australského velvyslance, ocenili růst a sofistikovanost čínského trhu, zdůrazňujíce význam spolupráce pro budoucí pozitivní vývoj.
And I think the development in China is, you can't really describe it with words almost, but the development the last 10 years, the most striking is China's progress in the green shift. We have a small economy and we totally depend on having openness, open economy, more trade. So I think this is, in this sense, fairs like CIFTIS is actually more important now than ever because it is promoting more open trade.
Chinese economy is playing a sheet anchor role, and it's a global workshop, and that's why we want to cooperate more with China, and we are looking for win-win outcomes.
Of course we do have confidence in the Chinese market. I mean, the Chinese market has been opening, the Chinese economy has been growing significantly along the years, for many years now, and we want this trend to follow. We hope that China can keep its strengths, and we hope that China and the world can join hands to make developments positive for everyone.
China's a very big market, but it's not just its size, it's its sophistication. So I think it's more that it's really the sophistication and the tremendous growth and emphasis in services that China has pioneered in many ways. So we want to work with China to help grow that as well.
Austrálie byla vyhlášena čestnou zemí pro China International Fair for Trade in Services 2025. Obchodní rada australské ambasády v Pekingu, Dominic Trindade, uvedl, že Austrálie a Čína jsou dlouholetí obchodní partneři, zejména v oblasti zboží a služeb. Obchod se službami často uniká pozornosti, ale v posledních letech se stává klíčovým prvkem spolupráce, zejména v oblastech, jako je udržitelnost a inovace.
Thanks very much. China and Australia are natural trading partners. We have been so for many years. Australia's two-way trade with China in goods and services is about a third of our overall trade, global trade. And services have always been a key element that perhaps goes under the radar a little bit. It's not as tangible, it's not as obvious as a great big iron ore carrier or a bottle of Australian wine on the supermarket shelves. But in fact, the evidence of that services trade engagements all around us, particularly here, who've been very active in the China market for many years and bringing with them Australian capability, including around sustainability, better ways of building and planning, and taking into account innovative measures, innovative ways of doing things. You often hear people talking about children being the future, students being the future, young people being the future. And as I said, our tertiary sector, our universities, some of whom are here at CIFTIS this year, and they will continue to be involved for the year coming, and we'll see more of them at the 2025 exhibition, whether it's the tertiary institutions or the business associations or it's the professional bodies. They're all working to do that, to give the workforce, whether it's the workforce here or the workforce in Australia, the skills and the mindset that are going to enable businesses to make those transitions for a net zero future. We are going to be the country of honour in 2025. In fact, that was something that Chinese Premier Li Qiang announced when he was in Australia in May, visiting our country and meeting with our Prime Minister and other businesses in Australia. And our strategy for that is to engage substantially this year in CIFTIS 2024, but as part of a kind of multi-year program. We'll be organising activities and programs focusing on some of the key themes that our participation revolves around. And those themes are really about sustainability, the path to net zero, how to look at Australian services trade in a new light, and recognising some of the capabilities and strengths that we have in our services sector. They've always been there, but we maybe haven't focused on them with that sustainability and net zero lens.